Hey everybody, it's Having Nobody Else's Auto. We got some more cool new inventory to check out tonight. 1980 Ford Bronco. Now, these full-size Broncos, obviously they've gotten insanely popular and everybody loves them. But for me here, it was just one thing, I didn't have anything. I didn't have any of them in inventory at all. And as always, I'm always looking to fill those holes, looking for stuff that I don't have anything here on. And this one, and even when the guy called me on it, he told me, he said, it's banged up a little bit. It's a little rough around the edges. And he was right. But he didn't tell me that it wasn't. But like I said, I didn't have any of them here at all. So I was definitely excited to add this one to inventory. And it is banged up a little bit, but there's a lot of trim there, a lot of good pieces there, not an excessive amount of rust in the body. And overall, still a lot of good pieces left here. So let's go take a walk around this thing, check it out. Now, when I got the call on this old Bronco, the guy that called me on it, that had it for sale, said, I'm not going to lie to you, it's pretty much been bumped on every corner. And he was pretty much right. This old Bronco's had a bit of a rough life, but it is still mostly intact, and there is still a lot of good pieces on it. So let's go ahead and take a walk around this thing and check it out. We can see it does have a little bit of rust coming through, but overall I don't see a lot of rust in the body. We can see the hood's pretty banged up on it. Does still have a decent amount of the side trim here. It does have the almost mandatory for the 80s era of the diamond plate aluminum running boards with mud flaps that bolted onto the fender wells and matched the running board. I think a large percentage of the trucks in the 80s did use those. We can see back here on the quarter panel where the body itself doesn't look too bad. Don't really see any rust at all around here on the tub of the body of this Bronco. Does still have the hard top on it. Does still have the spare tire rack on it. The tailgate is dented up some. And it looks like there's a little bit of rust just trying to poke through, but not terrible. There again, just has had kind of a rough life, kind of like what I was told. Nest City, Kansas out west. And once again, bumped and banged on the corners for sure. Some of the side trim is still here, but there again, we look back on this rear fender back here, and it's banged up in the corner, but it's not all rotted out. And of course, our mandatory diamond step plate running board and mud flaps. Most of the side moldings here over on this side. And we come around front, we see another almost mandatory 80s accessory, the tube grill. This one a square tube grill, replacing the plastic insert on this old Bronco. So let's take a peek inside of this thing. Like I said, this thing came from out in western Kansas and apparently was sitting somewhere in a pasture or field based on the amount of dirt that we're going to see inside of this thing. Let's open her up and check it out. Now inside this Bronco is mostly intact. It's missing a few bits and pieces, but it's very rough. It's been sitting for a long time. Like we said, you can just see the dirt piled up inside of this thing. From wherever it was sitting just out in western Kansas, it just sat there in blue dirt, blue dirt, blue dirt. And obviously that's definitely what has happened to this thing. This thing actually did have manual windows, but it was actually an XLT, but probably more of a plain one. You can see the XLT badge there on the dash, but we also see it did have an 8-track, almost a mandatory piece for 1980. Dash and everything is all still here. Did have cruise, so it did have a few accessories. Just heavily weathered, but there we can see our 4-wheel drive lever still sticking up. You know, kind of weird, today's world we're used to a button or a switch, but these things actually used to have a lever. You had to manually put them into 4-wheel drive, which in all honesty, I personally think was a lot better idea. Let's work our way back on around the back and head up, take a peek in the passenger side. And it does have the original seats in it, just rough. But let's go ahead and flip this one up. So we can take a peek in the back here. And we do still have our original bench seat in the back. Side trim panels and everything is all still in here. This thing is all pretty much intact. It's just dirty and aged and weathered from sitting. However, the good thing about it is all the glass is still here too. So since the windows were not busted out, a lot of the dirt and stuff built up inside, but at least it was not exposed to the elements. Well, there she is. Full-size 1980 Ford Bronco. Like I said, a little tough around the edges, but a lot of good bits and pieces there, and something I didn't have anything here on. So always excited to add something new to the inventory. So got any questions about this Bronco or any of the other 2,000 cars and trucks we got here on the ground, Nobody Else's Auto, just give me a call, 620-786-4428. Having a short conversation about your project or what you're looking for a project, year, make, model, body style. All that information is critical for me to know if I've got something here that can help you out with your project. So if you like old cars, like old trucks, be sure to check out the channel. We have had an amazing amount of new inventory coming in. You're not going to want to miss any of it. So be sure to check out the channel, Nobody Show. Click that subscribe button and check out some of the other videos, because that's all we've got on here: old cars, old trucks, memorabilia, because that's really about all I know to talk about. But we have a lot of fun with it. We do a lot of cool live stuff. You don't want to miss any of that either. So click that subscribe button, check out some of the other videos. Hope you enjoyed this one, and we sure just hope to see you soon on the next video. Thanks for watching, everybody.